Master!
Hi everyone, Master here with a review of the Aegis Vanguard Sentinel. The Sentinel is an electronic warfare variant of the Vanguard series, focused on interdicting and disabling enemy ships, as well as supporting other ships in combat. The Sentinel is the same size as other Vanguard variants at 48 meters long, 40 meters wide, and 9.5 meters high. There are the same distinctive Vanguard swing wings, like in all the variants, that retract when the landing gear comes out. This is so that they can fit in hangars better. It's designed for a crew of one pilot and a gunner/engineer. Like other Vanguard variants, the pilot sits alone in front of the ship with an excellent view around them. The cockpit does have some struts which cover a little of the view, but it's not too bad for a large ship. In the future, there's supposed to be a special augmented reality setup for the pilot to view and analyze radar signals and communications in real time from the helmet HUD, as well as from the engineering section. Currently, there isn't any special augmented reality showing right now, but hopefully CIG will implement it soon. Behind the cockpit is the main component rooms with doors to access shields, power plant, and other components. There is a hidden slot on the floor where you can place a small micro SU container. Behind this room is another door which leads to the main living quarters. On one side we have 2 beds and a kitchen. There is a gun rack here that pulls out, although it doesn't seem to work yet. The other side has a bathroom with toilet, shower, and sink. There is also an engineering section with computer access, although, again, you can't see the engineering screen working right now. In the middle of the room is access to the turret on top of the ship. Behind the living quarters is an airlock that leads to the ramp to enter and exit the ship. There's also a small component access in this airlock area as well. The Vanguard Sentinel has 2 size 2 Stealth Class B shields. There are also 2 power plants and 2 coolers. There are 2 size 2 radars, 2 size 1 hydrogen fuel tanks for 390,000 liters. There is a size 2 Stealth quantum drive and a size 2 quantum fuel tank holding 2,500 liters of quantum fuel. The Sentinel has a combat speed of 171 meters a second and a max speed of 1,022 meters a second, which is the fastest combat speed of the variants, although matched with the Vanguard Hoplite. The Warden has a slightly faster max speed. For weaponry, the Vanguard Sentinel has a size 5 weapon slot under the nose, outfitted with a gimbal for a size 4 laser repeater. There are also 4 size 2 fixed distortion repeaters on the nose itself, designed to disable ships and their components. The main gun is pretty hefty, and you can change it out for a fixed size 5 gun to match the fixed size 2 guns. One thing to keep in mind is the Sentinel has all the guns on a single primary firing group, so they all fire at the same time. This can make managing capacitors a little more difficult, and especially if you have some weapons that are gimbaled and some that are not. The reason for the combined fire group is because the Sentinel has an EMP generator set up to run on the second fire group. The EMP has a range of 900 meters, so you have to get pretty close to use it. This EMP can disable a ship completely, but only if the shields are down first. Otherwise, the shield will absorb the brunt of the EMP wave. Larger ships may take less EMP damage with their larger components as well, so it may take more than one shot, or you may have to disable them a lot more with guns. There may also be a device installed in the future to disrupt or jam enemy radars and communications using an external electronic warfare pod. The Sentinel also has a manned turret on top with 2 size 2 distortion cannons. These are slow but powerful cannons, better suited for attacking larger or slower targets. If you want to go after faster ships, then try some laser repeaters or distortion repeaters instead. The turret has a 360-degree view of the top of the ship. Sadly, there is no turret or coverage below the ship. The Sentinel also has 4 size 4 missile hardpoints, 2 in the shoulders with 4 size 2 missiles each, and 2 below the ship with dual size 3 missiles each. You can change these missile launchers to have 8 size 1 missiles, 4 size 2 missiles, dual size 3 missiles, or single size 4 missiles each. Great combinations to use against either light fighters or heavier ships. There are also supposed to be decoy missiles on the Sentinel to confuse point defense systems so that your regular missiles can get through, but they are not functional in-game yet, and I don't know where they would launch them from. Maybe they'll take up regular missile spaces or use some of the decoy slots. There is no official cargo storage on the ship, but you can store small micro SCU boxes in the cargo shelf on one side, or store full SCU boxes in the middle of the habitation area, although they may roll around a bit. There is stowage for player gear of up to 1,500 micro SCU. This Vanguard variant goes for $275 in time-limited sales on the website, or you can buy it in-game for 2 million UEC at Lorville. It is not rentable in-game right now. The Sentinel comes with a blue and yellow paint scheme which looks very much like the Invictus paint, but it can use all the other Vanguard paints. There are quite a few Vanguard paints you can get for the Sentinel as well. There is the green Fortuna paint, the silvery Solar Winds paint, the camouflage Frostbite paint, the blue and gold Invictus paint, and the olive green Timberline paint. The Vanguard Sentinel is a great heavy fighter. It has heavy armor and dual medium shields, plus many stealth components, so it's great for sneaking up to enemies. causing trouble and surviving the resulting combat. The long-range fuel tanks means you won't need to stop to refuel as often as other ships. Plus, the Vanguard series has a very fast quantum drive. The Sentinel is even better when used in combination with bombers or other ships. You can use the Sentinel to take out enemy defenses or interceptors before bombers arrive, to take out the rest of the targets. This also works great for team-ups with dropships like the Vanguard Hoplite or other dropships. You can swoop in, take out the defenses without being noticed, and leave the area clear for troops to disembark. There are a ton of missiles on the Sentinel, so you can use it as a missile boat to overwhelm targets, especially if you load all size 1 missiles, so you can get 24 missiles, or you could load big size 4 missiles against heavily armored targets to take down shields, and then disable with guns. The future decoy missiles will help your actual missiles hit their targets easier once they're implemented. The Sentinel can also be used as an interceptor to disable or destroy incoming enemy bombers or other larger ships. It doesn't have any torpedoes, so it won't take out capital ships, but ships the size of hammerheads or smaller are safe targets, especially if you combine the distortion guns, the turret cannons, the EMP, and maybe some size 4 missiles. The Sentinel can also be used as a long-range scout with the stealth components it has, and the long-range fuel tanks. The living quarters make it even more comfortable for long-range missions. Don't forget you can also use the Sentinel as an escort ship for convoys, as it's powerful and won't need refueling often. Bounty hunters and law enforcement can use the Sentinels to subdue bounties using the distortion weapons so they can prevent ships from escaping. Pirates, of course, can use the Sentinel to capture cargo ships pretty well too. The Sentinel works even better at capturing ships when paired with a ship that has a quantum enforcement device, like the Mantis. You can also use the Sentinel for very light cargo runs if you stuff the boxes in the living quarters, but you probably won't be able to fit more than 1 or 2 SCU of cargo in the ship. You also have to watch out for cargo boxes flying around and damaging things, since there is no cargo plating to hold the cargo boxes down. Just remember that the Sentinel is a heavy fighter, so it won't be as fast or maneuverable as other fighters, especially light or medium fighters. It won't be able to turn quickly or dodge as well as smaller ships, so it's best to use boom and zoom tactics. Fly in, do damage, fly out of range, and then repeat. The fact that all the guns are in a single firing group also means that you can't alternate guns to make sure you always have fire on the target, so be careful when firing your guns too empty. Another issue is the bottom of the ship has no turret coverage, so more maneuverable ships will be able to fly underneath or behind you and damage you. Make sure to roll often so all sides of the ship have turret coverage, and make sure to have a turret gunner too. Don't go into combat against other fighters without a gunner to cover your back. In comparison to other Vanguard ships, the Sentinel is slightly faster and more maneuverable than many of the other variants, while still keeping all the heavy-hitting weapons. The only thing it's missing are the torpedoes from the Harbinger. The stealth shields are great for hiding, but do have less resistance than more regular shields, so if you plan on going into heavy combat often, you might consider trading them out for military combat ones. This also applies to the other ship components too. The Vanguard Sentinel is a great fighter for taking out ships already, but once some of the future features are developed by CIG, then it'll be even better. For a heavy fighter, you can't go wrong with the Vanguard Sentinel. Alright, so that's it for the Vanguard Sentinel review. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can use my referral code if you decide to jump into Star Citizen, and you'll get 5,000 XP income credits. Here's a big thank you to all my current patrons. I have a Patreon going for $3 a month and a YouTube membership for $4.99. All patrons and members will have their names listed at the end of my videos and get access to our Discord channel. Patrons and members also have first pick on the next item I'll cover, so feel free to sign up and let me know what you'd like to see next. Okay, catch you all next time.